Good morning, students. In previous lecture, we have started the psychometric unit. In previous lecture, we have seen the psychometric properties and how it is plotted on the psychometric chart. Now, today we are going to see the remaining psychometric processes. In previous lecture, we have also seen the sensible heating, sensible cooling, humidification and dehumidification. Now we are starting today's lecture with the methods of obtaining the humidification. So we have seen that the direct method and indirect method. So in the direct method, water is sprayed at high pressure into the room to be air conditioned, and this method is not so effective because it only increases the humidity of the air and no any hold over the moisture content in the air. So this direct method is obsolete, and indirect methods are introduced for the humidification process. If you observe over here, the atmospheric air is flowing through this duct, and the whatever the foreign contaminants present inside this air, those are removed by these elemental plates. Okay, and further air is flowed over here, and you can see the water is spraying inside this air, and the air is passing through this eliminators also. So the what are the moisture contents in the excessive moisture content or the impurities present in the air, those are removed, and cooled air is supplied to the a room which is to be air conditioned. And see, this is the path of the air and how water is sprayed into this air. So this is second path, makeup water. When the water level drops over here, so the makeup water is added. So this water is pumped through this pump, and heating or cooling, whenever there is a summer condition, then we have to cool that air, and when there is a winter condition, at that time we have to heaten up that water. So this air is passing through this heating or cooling coil as per the requirement of the season, and this passes towards the spraying nozzle, and from this spraying nozzle it is spread into the air. So in this way, this indirect method of humidification is carried out. Next, we are going to see the methods of dehumidification. In methods of dehumidification, there is an air washer, or by using the chemicals, we are dehumidifying the air. So first method we are going to see, that is the air washer method. So in the dehumidification, by using the air washer, so the you can see the outside air or entering air is cooled below the dew point temperature, so that it loses the moisture by condensation. And dehumidification by the chemicals, so the chemicals have the capacity to absorb the moisture which is present outside the air entering. So the chemicals we are using for CaCl and silica gel or activated alumina. So this is related with the dehumidification by using the air washer and the chemicals. So next point, we are going to see the sensible heat factor. Now, we know that the heat added during the psychometric processes may be split up into the sensible heat and the latent heat. Now, during this process, the sensible heat factor we have to be determined. And how we are going to determine the sensible heat factor? So see, the ratio of the sensible heat to the total heat is known as the sensible heat factor. And this sensible heat factor, you can see sensible heat upon the total heat, and the total is the addition of the sensible heat plus latent heat. So SHF is shown on the right hand side of the psychometric chart. And next we are going to see the bypass factor. So the bypass factor means what? If the TC is the we are saying that the temperature of the heating or cooling coil. Then in passing the air through the heating coil or cooling coil of the apparatus, it is expected that air after the process should be at the coil temperature. And but during this process, this does not happen, and due to the effect of the bypass factor in the heating or cooling coil apparatus. So considering the cooling apparatus as the cooling water is the chilled or circulated during that, then the air passing over the cooling coil and fins get cooled. So all air cannot be come in contact with the cooling coil or the fins. Some air will passes through these fins with unaffected. So you can see over here. So by observing this figure, you can see 1 kg of the air at TD1 temperature is passing, and this is the coil. So during this coil, if the cooling water is flowing, then you can say it is taken by this air. And if the heating hot water is used, then during this coil, hot water is flowing and heat supplied to this air. So 1 kg of air at TD2 temperature is coming out. So the while bypass factor, considering this bypass process is unaffected air to the coil, is measured in terms of the bypass factor, because you can see whatever the air is coming in contact with this coil, that is only affected with this heat taken and given up, but remaining whatever passing over at certain distance from this coil, that is unaffected air. So that calculation is known as the bypass factor. So bypass factor mainly depends upon the number of fins provided, a unit length, or the pitch of the cooling coil, or number of rows in the coil in the direction of the flow, and third is the velocity of the flow of the air. Once again I am repeating, some air passing between the fins will not get direct contact with the cold surface of the coil, or whenever we are considering the cool coil and the fins. So we can say that this part of the cooling apparatus at the same condition, and if enters and mixed with the cooling air, so giving the condition of the mixture of the cooled and initial air. So the bypass factor increases as the velocity of the air over the cooling coil increases, and decreases with the pitch of the fins decreases. So decrease in the number of the cooling coil. And second, you can see here the bypass factor of the cooling coil decreases with the decreasing fin spacing, and bypass factor is of the cooling coil decreases with the increasing number of rows in the coils over there. So this is the bypass factor we have plotted on the y-axis, fin spacing. So the number of rows on the coil. So this graph representing the clear view of the bypass factor of the heating and the cooling coil. Next, due to the second factor is the enthalpy balance. So the enthalpy of the outlet air is equal to enthalpy of bypass factor plus the enthalpy of the air which comes in direct contact with the coil. So enthalpy, we know that mcp dt2 we are taking of the outlet air, then enthalpy of the bypass air x into cpm into td1, x is the we are taking into consideration, and this is the dry Chinese fraction of that at TD1 plus 1 minus X CPM into TD3. So this gives you, if we consider mass M is equal to 1, so here we are saying CPM TD2 is equal to X into CPM TD1 plus 1 minus X CPM TD3, where CPM is the specific humid heat. So the energy balance we are getting like this one. So we are taking the X parameter common outside the bracket, and remaining is the TD3 minus TD1, which is equal to the TD3 minus TD2. So X we are getting TD3 minus TD2 upon TD3 minus TD1, and this X is known as the bypass factor, and this X represent the bypass factor. So bypass factor for the heating coil, we can write TD3 minus TD2 upon TD3 minus TD1, and this TD3 is the coil surface temperature, TD2 air outlet temperature, and TD1 is the air inlet temperature. So this is the bypass factor for the heating coil. Next, we are going to see the bypass factor for the cooling coil. This is the TD2 minus TD1 upon TD1 minus TD3, and TD2 is the air outlet temperature, and the TD3 is the coil surface temperature, and TD1 is the air inlet temperature over here. So this is the bypass factor for the heating coil and the cooling coil. So the conclusion we are getting, the performance of the heating and cooling coil is measured in terms of the bypass factor. So coil with low bypass factor having the better performance. So the efficiency of the heating coil, we can measure the terms in terms of the 1 minus bypass factor is the efficiency of the coil or the contact factor. So efficiency, we can write efficiency is 1 minus bypass factor. So 1 minus TD3 minus TD2 upon TD3 minus TD1, or which is equal to the TD2 minus TD1 upon TD3 minus TD1. So the efficiency, this is the efficiency for the heating coil, and efficiency of the cooling coil, we can calculate 1 minus bypass factor as the TD2 minus TD3 upon TD1 minus TD3, which is equal to TD1 minus TD2 upon TD1 minus TD3. So this gives you the efficiency of the heating coil and the cooling coil. So the next point, we are going to see the that is the cooling with dehumidification process. So sensible heating, sensible cooling, and the dehumidification. So in this process, that is the cooling and the dehumidification process. This process involves not only sensible cooling but also latent heat removal. So the reduction of the moisture content or the dehumidification. So there below the dew point temperature, and when the air is passed over the coil, whose temperature is at, you can see the cooling coil temperature. So we are saying that the below the dew point temperature, the air is passing over heat, and the moisture condenses out the dehumidification results. So the dehumidification process, you can see, we can represent on this psychometric chart. So in passing through you can see the process is used in the, generally we are using in the summer air conditioning to cool and dehumidify the air, and the air is allowed to pass over the cooling coil through the cold water supply, and generally we are going to represent the cooling and dehumidification process. You can see in the psychometric process in this way. So in passing through the cooling apparatus, it is to be expected that the air after the process should be saturated condition. So this does not happen due to the effect of the bypass and the cooling apparatus. Um, So the understanding this process is considering in two distinct way. So we are plotting from this point to this point and from this point to this point. So this gives you the bypass factors over here. So this is the cooling with dehumidification process, and the cooling with dehumidification process is possible only when the effective surface temperature of the cooling is less than the dew point temperature as air is entering over there. So the um, effect surface temperature of the coil is known as the apparatus dew point. So you can see the various point for the cooling dehumidification we have plotted on this psychometric chart. So the dry bulb temperature of the air leaving the cooling coil, that is equal to the surface temperature of the cooling coil. But this never possible due to the inefficiency of the cooling coil. So the cooling and dehumidification results condition of the air coming out the coil is shown by this point 2 on this straight line. So the points line joining by the straight line 1 to the 4 over here. So we are getting this cooling with dehumidification process, and we are going to calculate the bypass factor. So the bypass factor we are getting TD2 minus TD4 upon TD1 minus TD4, because the temperatures we are considering related with this point, second, fourth point, and the 1 point, because we cannot say directly over here. So we have to split this in two ways. So which is equal to TD2 minus ADP, and we have seen what is mean by this ADP, that is apparatus dew point temperature. So we are saying that TD2 minus ADP apparatus dew point temperature upon TD1 minus apparatus dew point temperature, or we can write bypass factor is equal to W2 minus W4 specific humidity at point 2 minus specific humidity at point 4 over there. Okay, upon the specific humidity at point 1 upon minus specific humidity at 4. So which is equal to, and so we are going to consider the enthalpies also. So H4 minus H2 upon H1 minus H2. So this gives you the cooling with dehumidification. So in actual conditioning and dehumidification process, we can see this is shown by this dotted line. But for calculation purposes, we are considering only the endpoints over here. So this we are getting. So this 1 to A, this is the dehumidification process, and 2 to A, this is the cooling process. And we are treating it separately, that is Q is equal to H1 minus H2, and Q is H1 is the, we are taking, see, we are splitting this process. H1 is H1 minus HA. This is HA we are considering, plus HA minus H2. So in this way, HA minus H2 and H1 minus HA. So we are considering in this way because this is the latent heat you are observing. This is the latent heat, and this is the sensible heat. So we are splitting this into the latent heat and sensible heat. So latent heat is the H1 minus HA as we have seen, and latent heat removed due to the condensation of vapor to the system moisture content, that is the W1 minus W, and sensible heat, that is the H1 HA minus H2. So sensible heat removed, we can say over here. So sensible heat factor is equal to sensible heat upon the total heat, and sensible heat upon total is the sensible heat plus latent heat. So we can write sensible heat factor for the cooling and humidification, that is the HA minus H2 upon HA minus HA minus H2 upon H1 minus H2. H1 minus H2 gives you the total heat. So the line 1 to 4 that is the dotted line joining at the entering air, and the apparatus dew point temperature is the known as the sensible heat factor line. Next process, so we have shown over here. So these all about the today's lecture. So in today's lecture, we have seen two processes, that is the direct humidification process and the indirect humidification process, and where we have seen the methods of the dehumidification process. In that dehumidification direct indirect process we have seen. Then we have seen the methods of obtaining the dehumidification. In that we can see the air washing process. We can say that the outside air entering the air is cooled below the dew point temperature, so that it loses the moisture by the condensation, and by chemicals, the chemicals have the capacity to absorb the moisture over there. So we are using the CSCL, silica gel, and activated alumina. Next we have seen the sensible heat factor. Sensible heat factor is the sensible heat upon the total heat, and that total is the summation of the sensible heat plus latent heat. Next we have seen the bypass factor and how its effect on the humidification and dehumidification or heating and cooling, that points we have seen. Next we have seen the efficiency of the heating coil, efficiency of the cooling coil. Next we have seen the cooling with dehumidification process, and in that cooling with dehumidification process, different factors affecting on that, and bypass factor we have calculated for the cooling with dehumidification process. So in the next lecture we are going to see this is the actual representation of the cooling and dehumidification process. So we have seen the various processes cooling with dehumidification process, and next lecture we are going to see the cooling and adiabatic humidification process. So these are all about the today's lecture. So we are going to stop our lecture here. Thank you very much.